Hello, I'm Deborah Sword. Last week, Tyson and I discussed the importance of adding conflict communication audits to your conflict competencies. I first started wondering how to do a conflict communication audit after I attended a high conflict meeting. My client was pleased with the outcome, but the acrimony to get that satisfactory result was really unpleasant. When I thought about the meeting, I saw how the conflict played out from my perspective, but how would I know what else I could have done that might have been more effective? Instead of my usual undermining myself and resenting my opponent, I shifted to a healthy reflection about what I could learn from conflicts. Here are some of the components I've added over the years to my conflict communication audit. Use what you like, add more. You'll probably come up with a lot that I haven't. So the first component is intention. Forget the normal wondering about whether I dressed right or spoke well enough. My deliberate intention was to learn from the process, not the result I obtained. I reflected on what each person intended and its effect on the interaction. I can choose how to interpret other people's intentions. Because the meeting was difficult, it was hard to attribute good intentions to my client's opponent. But when I let myself view all of the intentions as reasonable based on what they believed, I got a sense for how they might have attributed the conflict to my client's bad intentions and probably to mine as well. Think of a conflict, one that's in your current life or happened in your past or one that you may anticipate in the future. What do you assume is their intention? Might you be influenced by how you feel about them? If you attribute other intentions to them, how does that change your intentions towards them? The second component is mindset. I talk about mindsets in episode 90, so you can review that one next. I'll put the link in the show notes. My client had been dealing with his opponents for years before he came to me for help. At the meeting, I observed all of the parties act on their beliefs about the other, and the consequence was an intractable conflict that had exhausted their resources, which made me think of the Thomas theorem. It says that because you act on what you believe has consequences. I'll put a link to the Thomas theorem in the show notes. Through dialogue at the meeting, everyone's beliefs expanded, and they were able to include options to act differently towards each other. So again, think of a conflict, one that's happening now, past, or anticipated. What do you believe about them? Might you be influenced by how you feel about them? If you change your beliefs about them, how does that change your actions towards them? The third component is the brain's neuroplasticity. The brain is remarkable in its ability to change your mind as you acquire new knowledge and have new experiences. I recently attended a meeting in which participants proclaimed they'd never reached consensus, so there was no point trying. After more discussion, they accepted that it was worth a try. I watched them become more open-minded. You can assist your brain open your mind by shifting from wary distrust to more trusting of hearing others' perspectives. From there, you see their intention differently. That opens your mindset and expands your options. Think of a conflict, past, present, or future. What do you refuse to discuss because you believe it's pointless? Might you be influenced by how you feel about them? If you were to discuss that, how does it change your mindset about them? The fourth component is perspective taking. I talk about perspective taking in episode 82. Again, link in the show notes. After that high conflict meeting, I switched from my normal obsessing about how I'd done in the meeting to healthy introspection about what others might have perceived. Seeing conflict through their perspective adds information about the conflict that expands my conflict competencies. It's easy to dismiss other perspectives as wrong, simple, and misinformed. But the fact that someone has that perspective starts with them seeing something other than what you see. I couldn't know how my client's opponent saw the conflict until I heard their version of events. I needed that version to have a more complete perspective to expand the options for next steps. Again, think of a conflict, past, present, or future. What do you think you might see from their perspective? Might you be influenced by how you feel about them? If you try to perceive yourself from their point of view, how does that change your perception of them? The fifth component is trust. There are many famous quotes about trusting others in order to gain their trust. A conflict communication audit is more than words, content, messages, strategies, image, and events. It's how you show up in the world and how others perceive you showing up. Are you transactional to the point of impatience? A cheerleader who won't hear bad news? A data nerd who demands evidence? Or are you humble, trusting, honest, and relatable so that people want to help you when you make requests? People are more willing to help when they trust. I like Ernest Hemingway's idea that you won't know if someone's trustworthy until you trust them. But it's scary to try because you become vulnerable and they can hurt or disappoint you. But if you're in conflict, they've likely already hurt and disappointed you. Conflict entails loss of trust. In your conflict communication audit, seek the trust. Where is it? If you can't find any, how can you add some to your audit to expand your options? Think of a conflict, past, present, or future. What do you trust and not trust about them? Might you be influenced by how you feel about them? What might they trust and not trust about you? If you were to trust them, how does that change your trustworthiness in their perspective? Again, it sounds like you're ready to conduct your conflict communication audit. I hope you found some of that helpful. Thanks for listening. I hope you'll subscribe to our podcast, like it, share it, leave a comment. What do you use in your conflict communication audit? We love to hear from you. Thank you.